All right, we are live. Looks like my microphone is working. Um, if anybody who's in the chat can confirm that that is working, I would appreciate it. I'm going to share my screen now. I'm going to do this again. Entire screen. Okay. All right. Sharing the screen. Okay. All right, we're sharing the screen. Okay. So, I'll try to check the chat at some point here. Right now, I don't have anybody. Please confirm my audio is okay. Thanks. Okay. Well, there's both of you here, so I'm glad that you're here. So what was your interest in attending today? Okay. Okay. So you want to do semiconductor work? Okay. All right. Well, unfortunately, we're not going to look at a semiconductor today. We're going to look at a metal sample, and we're going to do EBSD. That's not to say that people don't do EBSD of semiconductors, but because they do. So, but we're going to demonstrate use of this instrument today. So this is a FEI Helios G4 PFIB CXe dual focused ion beam SEM. And what we're going to show today is a couple things. So this has add-on equipment with it. So it has an EDS detector as well as an EBSD detector. And we're going to actually show how you can use the FIB beam to enhance your EDS and primarily your EBSD results. So the sample that we have is a nickel alloy called Inconel 600. So it's primarily nickel, but it also has a small amount of chromium in it as well. So it's not pure nickel. It also has some amount of oxygen in it. And of course, once it's been exposed to air, it has, a surface oxide layer. So we're going to see how we can use the PFIB to improve the EDS and EBSD results. So I'm going to be switching between monitors here. What I want to see if I can find here is I have an image that shows the setup here. Okay, so let me switch. This is the other computer that we're going to be using. So this is basically kind of the schematic of EBSD. You have a sample that's tilted to a high angle in the vicinity of 70 degrees. This would be the SEM column here. The beam comes down, interacts with the sample. You get diffraction of the electrons, and that diffraction is manifested in a diffraction pattern, which is projected onto your EBSD camera. And you see these nice Kikuchi lines, which are basically a projection of different sets of crystallographic planes in the material. And so this is a technique that is useful for crystallographic analysis. We can use it to do kind of simple things like just analyze the grain size of a material if we want grain size statistics. We can use it to do a little bit more complicated things like to do texture analysis of the material. So if we want to determine if our grains, say, have a preferred orientation or a preferred set of crystallographic planes that are parallel to the surface, we can also do that. We can use it to measure strain um, within grains. We can use it to characterize grain boundaries. So we can figure out the grain, the nature of a grain boundary, if it's like a twin boundary per se, or if we just want to know, more kind of general stuff like what is the misorientation angle between the grains, that kind of information. There's a tremendous amount of information we can get from EBSD. What we're going to do today with the EBSD is we're going to just do a quick inverse pole figure map, which is just a map which shows the set of crystal planes that is parallel to the surface as a function of position. Okay. And I already know in this material that there is no preferred orientation. It is a nice, very colorful, randomized texture. Okay. But we're going to see how the map quality is improved by doing some PFIB work to the sample. Okay. All right. So that's the schematic. And I'm going to go back here. And let me close this. So now why is I'm trying to cool my EDS detector down because what I want to do is I want to do a quick EDS analysis of the sample here to show what we have on the surface. Let me change my beam voltage here. So I'm going to change the beam voltage to 10 keV. 10 keV is kind of the lower limit on where we can do EBSD mapping. Whoops. Oh, that goes back to the preset. Okay. But the reason I wanted to do that is that 10 kilovolts is going to be more surface sensitive in terms of the EBSD result. So that's the main reason why I wanted to switch it. Sorry, the EDS result as well. So we're going to be able to detect things like surface oxidation far more readily with 10 kilovolts than we would with, say, 20 kilovolts. The grain structure of this sample is actually, it's fairly fine. So 10 kilovolts would work pretty well for this. So what I'm doing now is I'm just checking the alignment here. I'm stigmating the image. So this is just a little pore on the surface. There is some porosity here. Okay. Okay. And so you'll notice I have my sample here at about 4 millimeters working distance, which is what's called eucentric height. I'm waiting for my EDS detector to cool. While we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and insert, let me pause this, and I'm going to insert my detector. You're going to see it come in here from the right. And there it is. Okay, now I'm going to pause the CCD camera because otherwise that will interfere with the, oh, you know what? I didn't think about this. Can I do this here? Let me put this back. Can I just do a zoom? Why isn't it letting me? Why is it going off center like that? Doesn't make any sense. Oh, that's not too bad. Then I don't have to at least change the scanning. So, okay, we'll leave that there. for now. Okay, so my EDS is cool. I'm going to switch back over to the EDAX side here. Click close. Whoops. Let me check a couple things here. My pre-tilt is 0. And we're going to collect an image here. And I'm just going to take a survey spectrum of the area here. And let's see. We'll do high quality. Yes. Okay. So we're going to collect this and we're going to see what we get as far as the EDS is concerned. Why won't you let me move? Okay. So anyways, this is what we have. We see a big nickel peak, which we would expect. We also see chromium like we would expect. It looks like there's also maybe some other elements as well. We see a little carbon, which is surface crud. I can actually change this here so we can see further back. Okay. Yeah, so then there's the other nickel peak. So when this is done, we can remove this. So basically, it looks like we've got nickel, we've got some chromium. I wonder if maybe this peak here that's being labeled as tantalum, that could be actually some peak of the nickel L right here, which is probably likely. I don't think there's tantalum in this. And then you've got a little bit of chromium and iron here. Get rid of manganese. I don't know, it's auto IDing it for some reason. Cobalt. Okay, so then we're all done. Go ahead and blank the beam. Okay, so that's our EDS result. So we're going to see, well, what I'm really interested in seeing is if we can get this oxygen peak to go away, because we're seeing a surface oxide contribution. So, and that's also going to affect your EBSD results as well. So let's go ahead then. Let me come back to the microscope side. And I'm going to take out my EDS detector here really quick. Unpause this. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick EBSD map of this same area. So we have the before and after here. All right, so I need to move my working distance to 8 millimeters here. Let's try again. Okay, and the sample's flat right now, so I have to tilt it 70 degrees. The camera's going to come in from the right over here. So I'm going to do this in, and we'll go 20-degree increments here initially. Okay, there's my spot. Okay, I'll go in 10-degree increments now. So we have to get to 70 degrees. Technically, you could go as low as 60 degrees, but 70 degrees is kind of the standard angle for doing this, and your backscattered yield is going to be much higher, so your patterns are going to be better. All right, so we're going to go 10 degrees more. I know that looks scary, but it's not that bad. All right. All right, let me tweak the stig here really quick. Okay, so I'm going to set the mag. Let's see. That should be enough here. That's 2000. And now I'm going to turn on my dynamic focus because I'm tilted to a high angle. And I don't know how easy this is to see here. But dynamic focus basically ensures that your surface is in focus over the whole tilt range. So right now it's on. If I turn it off, yeah, so you can kind of see if we go near the edges. Oh, what are you doing? Okay, why'd you go to sleep, mouse? Okay. So you can kind of see as you go away from the center here that it gets kind of blurry. So if we turn on the dynamic focus, you can see that it gets nice and sharp. The other thing you'll notice too is the surface has a bunch of scratches on it. So this is from the sample prep process and my less than perfect EBSD polishing. So that's going to have an effect on the EBSD because that's damage to the surface, and that's going to impact the quality of your EBSD patterns. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to insert my EBSD camera. If it will let me. Okay, let's see here. All right, so we're going to see it come in from the right here. Let me check the chat and see if there's sound here is okay. Thank you. Audio is perfect. Thank you. Yes, so I apologize. I'll check the chat periodically. I can't have it going while I'm doing this, or otherwise it just because I have to share the screen, and it does that thing where it like repeats the screen over and over again, like into infinity, which is kind of cool, but is, I think a little distracting. All right, there's the EBSD camera coming in from the side. Go ahead and pull this down. Okay, so now I'm going to switch. I'm going to blank or stop the CCD here, and I'm going to blank my SEM image for the moment, and we're going to go to the EDAX computer here. Okay, are we still? Okay, we're still here. Okay, we still have this here. We don't have any pre-tilt, so we're fine. Can we take? I'm going to take a reference image here. So let's take a reference image. We'll take it with the SEM first, see what we get. Oh, I have it blanked. All right, false start. All right, let me try it again. Okay, so that's the image taken with the ETD, and I'm going to take it now with the FSD. So the FSD is actually, let me switch back to the other. Okay, the FSD is, I don't know how easy you can see it. It's this thing down here at the bottom of the EBSD camera. So this works really well to show kind of the grain structure of the sample. Okay, so there we go. There's our starting area. And So what we need to do now is we need to set up our camera here. So this is the binning for the pattern. I'm gonna increase this to 8x8. I'm gonna drop my exposure time. Let's see here. My exposure time is already maxed out. I think what I might need to do here, did I do this before? Let me see for a second. Okay, I did use 6.4. Okay, so I needed to increase the binning here. So why did that not change my pattern? It did change my pattern intensity. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to increase this. So we're about, okay, we'll do, now that with the, this is a CMOS camera, so there isn't, I find like as long as this fraction is a little bit, 0.1 is kind of the lowest you can go. So I'm going to leave it, we're about 300 frames a second, so that's fine. Change the mode here, or the image processing to enhanced. And we're going to take a reference, or sorry, a background collection now. Okay. And now we're going to go to, I'm going to go to Huff here and make sure my mask is set well. So at 10 kilovolts, I need to increase this a little bit. And let me do a capture here. Okay, so let me find a better pattern. There we go. Okay. And then let me go back to pattern and index. Okay, so I'm getting a good confidence index. I'm getting a good fit. Let me go ahead and do tune here as well. Okay, and then I can, let me see here. I can turn off the overlay here. There we go. Solutions off. Yeah, so you want to toggle this and make sure that it looks good, and it does. Okay, so we're all set now to take the map. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead here and we'll go to scan. And let's see here. It's going to take us 13 minutes to do medium, and that's fine. I'm not going to save the patterns just to do this here. I'll go ahead and do simultaneous EDS, so we can actually collect some EDS data. I think what it does, it doesn't do an actual spectrum at each pixel. I think you have to tell it which elements to map, but we'll do that here, okay? All right, and so now that we're ready, oh, I already have the phase selected here. So just, right, you have to tell it what phase you want beforehand. We already know this is nickel, so you can do, there's a search in here, you can search for it. This is very similar to how this works in team. If you have a, if you don't know the phase, or sorry, if it's not in the database, you can actually add it here. You have to go to the phase tab, but you can add it in as well if you know, if it's not in the database. Okay. All right, and so we are ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and click collect. Okay, and so we have to tell it what elements we want to map. So we're going to tell it oxygen. We'll tell it nickel, obviously. We'll tell it the chromium and the iron. Everything else, I think, was, we won't worry about carbon because that's just surface crud. So we'll go ahead and do that. And there we go. Oops, and you know what? Hold on, false start. I need to put the EDS detector in. Okay. Not going to get much here without that. So here, let me because see, I don't have the EDS in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, we can watch it go in here. Again, I'm going to turn off the camera once it's in. I'm just doing this to verify that it's in. Okay, so it's in. Let me go ahead. So there's a little bit of a shift in the picture. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a new reference image. And so the in-situ polishing, we're going to hope is going to get rid of all this, or at least some of it. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to click collect. Okay, we have the same elements selected. There we go. Okay. So that's the pattern as it's scanning. That's the index solution as it's scanning. That's the unit cell solution. So when it's doing the solution, this is what it's doing. Is it's literally it's finding the orientation of the unit cell at each pixel here. Details. And then I don't think we can actually see the EDS results now. I think we have to wait until it's done and we actually send it to the, what's it called? We send it to OIM, but I wanted to show how you can do that at the same time. All right. This is your confidence index bar here. So this is deep in the green, which is good. Is it telling us that's the pattern? That's the solution. There should be a place where it gives us statistics on the CI. Normally it does that here. So why is it not doing this here? Is it in details? No, this is the points completed, but this is not the result. Anyways, let's talk about the map here. So anyways, what we're seeing here is there was two things. So we had an IPF map superimposed on an image quality map, or I don't like that they call it image quality. This is really pattern quality. But anyways, let's turn off the IQ map for a second and just talk about the IPF map. So each of these colors in the IPF map corresponds to a set of crystallographic planes. And these are the planes that are parallel to the surface. So if we have this green color, that's a 101 set of planes. If we have the red, that's 001, and if we have the blue, it's 111. So because of the symmetry of the unit cell being cubic, we can contain every single direction in here in just this little snippet of a stereographic projection, which is kind of neat. But you can see very clearly, right? This is kind of all over the place in terms of the color, right? So there's really not, I guess, a preferential color. Although, to be sure, the way we could actually do that is if we actually analyze this data with OIM, and if we can then figure out by doing, oh my goodness, all right, I had the wrong thing here. Okay, my bad. I had this set on the wrong thing here. All right, so let me go back through this again here because I had a little snafu. All right, so the map's going now. It's been going for about 25%, so we still got plenty. So you didn't really miss anything. What I was doing here was I was cycling through these tabs here. So this is showing us the pattern as it's scanning. This is showing us the bands that it's solving. This is the Huff transform of the EBSD pattern. The Huff transform is basically a way of transforming the pattern to find the bands. So what you notice here is in the Huff transform, it's looking for these peaks in the transform. So the peaks in the transform correspond to these different Kikuchi bands. Okay, without going into more detail than that. Yeah, understanding the Huff transform it's pretty neat, but it's a little bit more abstract to do. This is the index solution. So as it's going through, this is the unit cell solution. So that's ultimately what you're doing when you're solving this. Is you're finding out the unit cell orientation at every point in the map. And this is a pole figure here. So this is telling us the so in a pole figure, this is telling us the normal direction or the set of planes that is normal to the surface. So you can kind of see, right? So this would be, if we go to the right, this would be 100. This would be 010, and this would be 0. Well, actually, we don't know which pole figure this is. So that's a little bit irrelevant at the moment. So it's not telling us what pole figure we're actually doing here. Is it telling us somewhere? No. Okay. So anyways, okay. So yeah, but with a pole figure, this corresponds to some set of crystallographic planes with respect to the sample direction. So this is these would be the in plane direction, and right here would be the out of plane direction. Again, I don't know which pole this is. It's probably either 100, 110, or 111, but you can kind of see like these are all over the place, which is again indicative of the sample not having any sort of texture, right? Which is kind of what we would expect. Let's see. If I swap this out, okay, so it does show this again. So this bar on the right, this is the confidence index as it's scanning along. So this is deep in the green, which is good, which means it's very confident with its results. And so the map here, this is showing an inverse pole figure map superimposed on pattern quality map. So let me turn off the pattern quality. So this is telling us the set of crystallographic planes that's parallel to the surface. Click on legend here, we can see what this means. So the green is 101, the red is 001, and the blue is 111. Again, because this is cubic, this is all contained in just one little triangle snippet here. Now, as far as what the pattern quality map is, or IQ, so this is pattern quality, but they call it image quality, which is a little misleading. But basically, if we just turn off the IPF and we look at the pattern quality, so it's doing some sort of analysis of the pattern to say how good is the pattern. So you can see where we have these scratches, right? We don't really have very good quality, okay? Which is kind of expected. So again, this is something that we're gonna clean up here when we do the spin milling. Okay, at least that's the goal, is to improve this and to get a better result. Okay, so we're moving right along here. We can map also the confidence index, and so we see that where we have the scratches, our confidence is low. Where we're at the grain boundaries, the confidence is also low. We can do this as a color map as well. So with the color map, the green is high confidence and the red is low confidence. We can also do a color IQ or pattern quality map, except now with the pattern quality, it's reversed. So the red is good quality and the green is bad quality. So just to be a little bit confusing there. Oh, it says EDS. Okay, so we can take a look at this. Okay, so this is all of our elements here, right? So we can see all of these here. It's not telling us what's what, unfortunately, but we do have the map going here. Okay, so actually we can, I think we can turn these off and see what's what. So there's our nickel. There's our iron. There's the chromium. Yeah, so we see the chromium kind of at certain parts here. I think it's kind of, it should be at the grain boundaries mainly. Okay, and then we see, yeah, there's a little bit of coincidence here, but okay, so I didn't know we could do that there. So there you go. There's the EDS live as it's happening. I know we can change the colors at some point. We're not going to worry about that now. Yeah, so again, I don't know which pole figure this is, but this is telling us very clearly that we don't really have any sort of preferred texturing, right? The texture is just kind of all over the place, or random is the correct word. All right, so this is going to be our set of control data. And let me explain this one more time with the pole figure, because I don't think I did this initially. So the directions here, the left and right, these correspond to sample directions, okay? So these two are the in-plane sample directions, and then the out-of-page direction, that's the sample normal direction. Each one of these dots, this corresponds to a pixel in the picture, and where the pole for this set of crystal planes is pointing relative to the sample geometry. So let's say that we had a perfect single crystal, right? And the normal direction was aligned with the pole, right? So what we would see is that we see a cluster of all of this right here at the middle, right? Because that would be pointing out of the page, and we wouldn't see anything else out here, okay? We don't have a single crystal, of course. So, all right, let me check the chat here really quick. Many thanks. Yeah, I'm sorry, I switched the screen back. Hopefully, you saw that, so I caught that. Apologies. I was hoping I'd get some help from my live audience here, but they apparently didn't notice. That's okay. This is the first time I think they're probably seeing any of this, so they probably don't know exactly what they're looking at. So I give them a pass. But we have 2 people live in the room watching this, which is great. Sorry, I'm just checking here. Oh, hello. Oh, thank you. Oh, someone left the chat. Oh, great, perfect. So I can see it. Oh, hello. No, that's fine. Go right ahead. So we got some more viewers. A demo kit? A demo key. Why not? Sure. Oh, okay. No, that's. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that sounds interesting. Um, Kind of intermittently. I mean, most of it's kind of metal stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I know some people. I know there's one person. So I'm having a chat with someone in the room right now. Um, but I know somebody like they're working on a steel sample and they're having trouble with it index. So it might benefit that. I don't know if that's really like a grain size issue or just like an issue with solving the phase properly. So mhm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think this one, yeah, this is an NVIDIA card, so this probably does have, it probably is CUDA enabled. So, okay. 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 All right. So it's done with the scan here. I'm going to click done here, and I'm going to put some notes here for my map here. Where are we? Notes. Add notes. Come on. Oh, there's the EDS. Okay, so why can't I add notes? That's sending it here. I want to add some notes, please. Okay, there we go. All right, so 10 kV, 6.4 nanoamps, 2000x, HFW is 104 micrometers. This is on the microscope side. So I know here, see, camera binning equals 8x8. And the pattern intensity, let's see, and then it was 300 patterns per second. Okay, so I know what that is. What's a pole? Okay, so the pole is the normal to the planes. That's all pole means. So it's a normal direction to a set of crystal planes. Okay, so we have our control data here. And actually, let me relabel this. Okay, this is pre PFIB polish. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to take out my EDS detector. I'm going to take out my camera and I'm going to switch back over to the microscope. Looks like there's a delay here between what I'm seeing and what you're seeing, but that's okay. You're just seeing it a little bit late. I don't know how long that is. It's probably about 3 seconds or so. Okay, so let me tilt back to 0 degrees. Unblank the beam. Oh, what is the composition? So okay, so the PFIB is it's a xenon source. So it's a xenon ion source, which uses a gas actually. So yeah, the plasma is xenon. All right, so there's our analysis area. or area that we looked at. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the PFIB here to polish this. So I have to bring the sample up a little bit higher here. So where was the little hole I was looking at? I need that to, oh, I tilted back down. Okay, so it's up here. There we go. Well, yes. So you do want, yeah, a pure gas for your plasma source. Yes, absolutely. I don't know what the tolerance is, but I don't know how many nines it is, but it's pretty pure. Okay, so if we look at the I'm going to blow the camera view up here. Okay, so here's our SEM column. Here's the PFIB column. What we're going to do is we're going to tilt this negative to get the surface of the sample at a glancing angle to the PFIB. Okay, and that's how we're going to polish it. So let me just check our eccentricity here. I'll turn off the dynamic focus because we don't need that anymore. Okay, so that looks good. So the basic idea here is we're going to tilt to a glancing angle, maybe about 2 degrees off from parallel to the surface, and then we're going to execute a milling pattern. We're going to rotate the stage, then about 20 degrees, and then we're going to execute the pattern again, and then we're going to do another 20 degrees and execute the pattern again. So now I'm tilting negative. So you can see I'm going parallel, or more parallel to the surface of the fib. So if I get to minus 38, that's going to be perfectly parallel. I don't want to be perfectly parallel. I want to be, whoops, I want to be slightly parallel. So if we go with minus 36, okay, there we go. All right, so now do I have my PFIB? It is still on. Let me increase the current here. That's not good. Why do I only have one current? Oh boy. Let me see here. What's going on? Oh boy. Well, that's a new one. What? You got to be kidding me. What's going on here? Well, can I even turn it on? I can. But I can't go. No, something happened here with the. Oh man, that's frustrating. This got messed up here. Okay, let me. going on here? See, these are all here. So why is it not? Yes, this is. You're absolutely right. No, I didn't. I mean, they didn't go anywhere. All right. I'm gonna have to make a phone call here and see if I. All right. So bear with me, folks. I got to take the headphones off. Pretty disappointing. The service guy was here yesterday working on this. So. It always happens when you want to do something. Always give you a hard time. So the secret is never want anything. It's still work. Did you expect the worst? Hi, Derek. I'm on the PFIB, and the FIB beam is only giving me the option to select 1 picoamp. I used to demo the FM. I didn't change anything. Well, trying. I've never seen this. I've never seen this problem before. Well, I was trying to avoid that just in the try to. No, it's out of service mode. I mean, the plasma's on, everything's fine. Okay. That's in the. Okay, this is in the. Okay, it's in the ion column. BD. Okay, I see. Okay, so I just click. There's just a home button. Do I have to do this for all of them, or just? Okay, I mean, it looks like it's only doing this for one of them, unless I'm. Okay, well, I see under the ion column section, there's BDA, AVA, and BAA, AVA. Is that what you're talking about? Okay. Okay, I have them open. Right. They both have a home button. Okay. I still only have, yeah, I still only have one. It is, yeah. I mean, I can get an image. It's not. It looks like it's out of whack though. Like it's not. Something's misaligned or something. Just do a reboot. Okay. All right. I'll give that a try. No, I understand. Okay. Thank you. All right. Go ahead. All right. So all part of the fun of live TV. So we're gonna have to do a reboot from standby, unfortunately. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna sleep the system. I have never seen this problem on here, which is very odd. Yeah, because when I checked this yesterday, it was all in one piece. So that's why it's very, very odd that that happened. I don't know what happened between now and yesterday, but oh, something bad. All right, so we're going to go to standby. I'm not going to do a reboot here. I'm just going to a reboot of the PC anyway. I'm just going to reboot the microscope. Yeah, so I talked with the service guy. Thankfully, I was able to get him on the phone quick, and we tried what you saw there, but didn't work. So we're gonna try the reboot from standby here. And if we can't get a fib beam, then I'm afraid we're going to be kind of limited here in what we can do. Because that's kind of necessary if you want to do this spin milling. That's crazy how things cease working at the perfectly wrong time. We still have enough time to get everything done um, if this comes back. So no issue there, but it has to come back. Otherwise, we're basically, SEM only. All right, we're booting up the UI. Oops. All right. All right. Come on. Spelling is hard. There we go. All right. Gotta home the stage. Gotta home the SEM apertures. Gotta home the FIB apertures. Hey, they're back. All right, we're in business. Okay. So it looks like our crisis is probably averted here. Well, hey, if you're gonna do a live demo, you might as well make it interesting, right? All right. So, anyways, where we were was I'm gonna have to reposition this, which is fine, no issue there. But where we were here was we were positioning the sample to do the spin milling. That's where we were. And then we found out that we didn't have the beam. So I'm going to see if I can find the location again. It should be pretty obvious. Yeah, so this I think was where we were doing the map. Okay, yeah, that's where we were doing the map. Let me do a relative rotate here. Okay. All right, hopefully nothing else gets in the way here. I got to reestablish eccentric though, so we'll go ahead and do that. It's also a good idea too, even though we didn't change the beam conditions, I'll just really quickly here, I'll check crossover. Okay, that still looks okay. Let me send the service guy a text message here really quick. So he knows that we're okay. All right. Okay, our lens alignment here looks reasonable. I'll just show you how this is done. So again, we saw with the EBSD, I mean, you can see even right now, right, the surface is all scuffed up, okay? This was not a great polishing job on my end. Part of that is, you know, my polishing skills, because I don't do EBSD polishing a whole lot. But we're going to improve this using the PFIB, okay, as a tool. So let's see here. All right, let's see what we got here. Are we coupled? No, we want to couple the mags. It looks like we lost some of the live audience. That's okay. All right, what's going on? Now, why do we not have anything here? Gotta be kidding me. Okay, so we are seeing something here. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm holding down Shift and then clicking and dragging to get the image coincident. Let me switch to 30 picoamps here. Give me a little more current. All right, there we go. All right, and then let me go ahead and just center this a little bit better. So normally I don't have the UI like this. I don't have a digital zoom. This is doing it because of the screen capture thing, okay? But I don't normally do that. It's not how it normally looks. Okay, so we'll go to 52 degrees here. All right, eccentric looks good. So we're gonna go back to 0. And now we're gonna go with our negative tilt. So we'll go -10. Okay, so now in the SEM image, this is the high side of the sample, right? This is the side that's tilted up towards the fib column. This is the side that's down. And let's see where we're at here. Okay, so again, we'll do Shift click. So I don't have the scan rotation on, so this is now the high side also in the fib image. Okay, go -20. Okay, that looks good. -25. -30. Okay, and so we're gonna go -38 gets us parallel. We're gonna go 2 degrees off from that. So we'll go, we'll do it in increments here. -36. Okay, there we go. All right. So actually, let me mag out here. We want to use a wider view field here. We're gonna go, yeah, let's do, all right, since to make this kind of quicker here, let's do 200. This. We got a little bit of a shift here. Yeah, looks like it. Let me shift this back here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go to the rectangle pattern. And we'll go 200 wide. Okay, so now the Y dimension, we put this as 20, but basically we have to divide by sine of 2 degrees to figure out the actual amount on the surface that we're actually going to be milling, okay? So if we do this, where's the calculator? Okay, so if we do 20 divided by, now 2 degrees is small, so we can approximate that in, just the argument of the angle. So if we convert that to radians, that's 34 milliradians or 0.034 radians. So we're going to do 20 divided by 0.034. Okay, so that's giving us a lot of actual surface distance. If we wanted to do about, let's make it 400 just as a nice rounded thing. So let me clear this. So if we do 400 times 0.0, 3, 4. Okay, so about 13. So let's round it to 15 here. Okay, and now we're going to put the current up here. Okay, I'm going to put the current up here to something really high. I have done this at half a microrad or milliamp, microamp, I should say. So we're going to try something a lot higher here. And now as far as the depth is concerned, let's see here. If we do 20, let's see. Let's just do 10 here in the interest of time, because we're going to have to do this in a few increments, okay? So that should give us enough time here because it's already 11:15. So no, 15, 2 minutes each. If we do 20, let's do 10. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so now we might be able to take a snapshot here while this is going. Yeah, we're getting just too much signal here though. Okay, there we go. All right, so it's going right now. Now I can already see a difference actually in the image here as a result of this. We're seeing way more detail on the surface again because we're getting rid of that oxide, right? Oxide's going away. So that's the first thing that's going to happen is we're going to get rid of the oxide, and then we're also hopefully we're going to improve the scratches as well. Okay. And again, we're going to come at this from a different angles here. Okay, so this is just the beginning. How much did we do here? We did 10. Yeah, we might want to try a little bit less. Or if we do 5, we might want to cut the current down and just do 5 because I think this is a little bit aggressive. All right, so there's our first mill. Okay. All right, so we're going to rotate now relative. And let's go, we'll go 20 degrees, okay? And I have to go minus actually here because I know from doing this. Okay, so there we go. And I'm just gonna leave this alone here as far as the mag is concerned. Let me drop the Z down to just 5 though, okay? And I'm just gonna go ahead and fire away. So the FIB beam is coming vertically here, okay? So you can see what's happening is we're coming at this from a bunch of different angles, okay? Coming at this from a bunch of different angles. And so this has the effect, right? Like if you rotate the sample while you mechanically polish it, you're gonna, create a smoothing effect as you do this. Okay, so I think what we can do here, it looks like we can probably cut this depth down a little more to maybe just 3. And I'm going to bring the current down a little bit here because that should help us with the curtaining. Okay. And so we're going to go minus 20 degrees more. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Someone in the room there. All right. And we'll go ahead and do this again. Okay, did we finish up here? Looks like we did. All right, so we're going right along here. Now it looks like we're not quite hitting this same spot here, which is not necessarily a problem. Let me go ahead here and adjust with the current back here, and we'll make sure that we're actually seeing that. Okay, so there's a little bit here, minus 30. Okay, there's this sample. So I'm thinking I'm a little bit off here. All right, let's try this again. So I think, yeah, that was a problem here. I was not quite, yeah, there's a little bit of a shift every time you do the rotate. So we'll try this again. All right, we'll put this at 5. So the idea is we want to rotate it so eventually we're doing 180 degrees from the other direction as well. Oh, wait a second. Nuts. Okay. All right, I didn't have the right angle here. So let me go ahead. Okay. Actual minus. Okay, you got to be at the right angle there. Okay. Yeah, we might need to go to a fresh spot here, which is okay if we do. Yeah, so I used too high of a too high of an angle there by accident. All right, let me put this back here. We're gonna go to a new spot. Relative. So we're gonna go minus positive 60. Okay, let's find a new spot here. We can use this. Where are we at here? Okay, so that should be the right location now. All right, let's try this again. Okay, it's making us do this. Yeah, it's going to shift this though. All right, come on. All right, here we go. Okay, there we go. Now we're talking. All right, let's go ahead and execute. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you can already see the improvement just in the SEM image here. Now we're getting some curtaining. The curtaining's less here. I mean, that makes sense. It's going to be less at lower beam current. All right, we'll go again here. All right, this is looking good though. So that's 3 mils. So the goal is to do 9 of these, right? So we end up, cutting it from front to back. We probably don't need to go quite that many, but I guess we could if we wanted to. Yeah, this is looking good though. Yep. So you can hopefully see the scratches in the surface are definitely going away here. It's a shame that you can't on this system rotate continuously and mill. I think that's a safety feature because they don't want, you know, they don't want a collision. So I'm pretty sure that's why that isn't an option, at least not at high tilt like this. All right, though. I promise you, we're gonna catch the white whale here. We've already come this far, so we're not giving up. All right, so we're getting there. Apologize. I will check the chat here in a little bit. So again, I'm just at 2 degrees, 2 degrees glancing angle here with the PFIB, and I'm using half of a microamp. I'd done this before at half a microamp. Wanted to see if 1 microamp would maybe, give us a little bit of a time saving. Looks like we were getting too much of a detriment though in terms of the curtaining, so I cut it back down to half, and that seems to be it is producing a better result here. So, all right, so we can actually take a look here and see how many more rotations. I think we probably need to do 2 more, and then we'll have gone the full 180 degrees. All right, so we're close. I think we need to do 2 more here. Unfortunately, if you have pores in the surface, you're probably going to get some curtaining off of them, which is what we're seeing here. It's kind of just, there's no real way to avoid that. You just need a sample that's not porous, right? But sometimes you have pores. All right, we'll do one more execution here, and then we'll be all set. And then we will admire our handiwork here and see what we've got. But it already looks pretty promising. All right. So there we go. So here's where we were milling now. So it looks like somewhere up in here, we kind of got the sweet spot. I mean, we hit this at a bunch of angles here, so anywhere in here really should be good. All right, so let me tilt. Let me do a relative rotate back the other direction of 180. What milling? Okay, so this pattern is just it's a rectangle. That's all it is. With the silicon material file, with the 85% overlap. So, yeah, there's nothing too special about it in that regard. Sorry, whoops. Actual. Okay. So here he's got kind of ground zero. And we got to go to 8 degrees. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, we don't have time really to do the EDS at the same time. Well, no, I guess we can do this pretty quickly here. All right, let me move the detector in. Let me freeze that. All right, let me switch to the other computer. And we're going to go ahead here. Oops. What's going on here? Why are we not getting anything? Why are we not seeing anything here? Why are we not seeing this? Auto enhance, tilt. We'll What's going on here? It's not acquiring an area. Why is it not acquiring an image? No, I mean, it should just take it. Yeah, got a person in the room asking why it's not working. Well, let's see if it'll at least let me collect a spectrum here. It should let me do that. Okay. So yeah, so I'm not sure if we're seeing this reduction in the ox. It looks like we are. There's a couple other peaks down here that are kind of overlapping, but that's what I wanted to see. All right, let me go ahead and stop this here. Go back to the other picture here. All right, we got to go to 8 millimeters. And we'll use this here. And now we got a tilt. I'm trying to find the spot here where the sample kind of got the smoothest. It looks like, well, it certainly wasn't here. Yeah, so we're seeing a little more topography here than I would have liked. Um, Not necessarily a problem. All right, so what are we going to do here? We tilt to 70 at 70 degrees. We're still a little bit, it's still a little bit rough there. I mean, if we use this area here, well, I guess we can still do this. I mean, part of the reason this happens is not because, I mean, because you have different orientations and the grains, channel versus not channel. So that's kind of hard to avoid per se, but we'll go with it here. All right, so we set the mag this high before. All right, so let me move this back up here. Let me put in the EBSD camera. Whoops, total tilt is less, oh, no. We have to change, what, no, the pre-tilt is, oh, see, it thinks, Okay, so this thinks the stage tilt is not what we think it is. I know why it's probably doing that. It's probably doing that because we went to negative tilt. Okay, here, I can close this and then we'll just start it up again. So I'm restarting Apex. I think it took up an issue with me having the nerve to use negative tilt with the sample. See, this was one of the areas I did before. This one came out a little bit better, so. All right, let me switch to Apex screen here. Oh, we lost the screen. What happened? Oh, I didn't. Mine's okay. What's going on here? You are sharing the screen. That's the camera. So why is it not doing it? Are we not seeing Apex anymore? All right, let me stop the share and then start the share again. Okay, there we go. All right. All right, we're going to get there, folks. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay. All right, got the mag set to what I was using before. My camera is inserted. Let me pause the camera. And let me do let me see. Okay, I don't have any pre-tilt there. Let me collect the image. And there we go. Okay, so I think it's pretty obvious here that at the very least, right? Now there's a little more topography because of the milling, but we got rid of pretty much all the scratches here on the surface. Okay, so we're really seeing the microstructure much differently now. All right, so we'll reset the camera here to what we were using before. We had this set at about 300 frames a second. All right, we'll do a SEM area. Are we still in the right sample? Yes, we are. Okay, we'll go to pattern. All right, so we've got a really good looking pattern here. Okay, good confidence index. Let me make sure I have the Huff mat. I need to increase this because we're at 10 kilovolts. And let me go back to pattern and then index. Okay, so there we go. So that's much better. All right, we'll go to scan. Okay, and just like we did before, we'll do simultaneous EDS. And here we go. Wait, I don't have the EDS in. All right, I'm not going to make that mistake again. All right, there we go. All right, let me take another image area here. All right, and so we should be good to go now. Okay, what do we want here? We want chromium, iron, and nickel. And there we go. Okay, so hopefully you can already see this, right? So especially with the pattern quality map here, right? So all the scratches are basically gone or they're minimized. We can pull this up actually. While this is going on, I can actually pull the other one up here. Let's see, new map. Yes, we can do pattern quality. Yes, so this was the original pattern quality. And this is the pattern quality that's still in progress, but hopefully we can see that's really looking a lot better. And it's not giving me any statistics here for the for the confidence index. It can do that when we're done, but yeah, it's pretty. That's what it was. That's what we're getting now. I mean, the IPF already looks much better. You don't have all this marring there. So we still set out to do, or we're still able to do what we wanted to do. So yeah, I didn't realize. I mean, some of that topography is going to be expected. Obviously, there's a lot of variables to play around with here with the spin milling. You have the current, you have the angle at which you do it. You have the pattern parameters as well, right? So you could be doing, I did this with a rectangle, right? But you could try doing this with the cleaning cross section as well. The rectangle's, faster to do it, so I did this kind of just to expedite things, but that may produce a little bit cleaner of a result, which is why they call it cleaning cross section. So there's really a lot of variables. I've only played around with this a little bit, but I saw a pretty big improvement as a result of doing it, which is why I did it to begin with. So, and why I wanted to do this as a demo, I wanted to do a different demo, you know, because I already have plenty of videos on here. I didn't want to just rehash what I'd done before. So, all right. There's our pole figure. Again, we don't know which pole this is, but that's okay. Again, we can see the result. So this is the same field of view. I made sure to make sure that was the same that we did this before. Yeah, you can really see the difference here. So all of those scratches are basically gone. What you're seeing now here, these are actually, if we turn on the IPF, yeah, so these are actually now grain boundaries that we're seeing here. So unfortunately, we're not looking at the exact same area as we did last time. That would have been ideal, right? Because then we could see, oh, are we seeing, you know, more detail than we were before? So we don't have quite the apples to apples comparison in that regard, but still useful result. Let's check out the EDS here. Yeah, so we're seeing a little bit. I think, at the grain boundaries, which is where we would expect to see this. So that's the live SEM signal. Again, we're using the FSD for this, so. There's our confidence index. I can do this actually here. Yeah, so you can see the improvement also in the CI map. We can make a CI map here as well. So yeah, the CI map looks pretty similar to the pattern quality map, right? Let me put this in black and white instead. Yeah, so you see the difference now. So I know that the grains in this, they're very strained, actually. So you actually see this in the IPF, right? How you kind of see this watercolor effect here, right? Because, you know, the grains themselves are highly strained. The microstructure of the sample actually is kind of a chord one. So as we actually move away from the middle, the grains tend to get bigger and more relaxed. So it's not quite as interesting, but you don't see the same kind of effect here. You'd see kind of just a, you know, nice uniform color here. Oh, okay. So somebody, a live person, has a question about how much can you improve, you know, depending on how badly the scratches are. That's a good question. And I don't have an answer for that, right? Because now I do know, you know, I do know that there are tools on the market that are designed specifically as ion beam polishing tools for EBSD. Those actually exist. So I don't know if those require some amount of pre-polishing beforehand. But yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, right, how bad the sample could be to begin with. That'd be interesting to see, if you start with something that's pretty badly mucked up, and how does it look after doing this? I mean, you're going to see some benefit as a result, right? But in principle, like a starting surface is going to have some impact on that. That's really interesting. We got like a wavy one in here. I wonder if that's a topography effect, or if that's just how this is. I mean, if we look at the other one here, do we see anything kind of similar? Yeah, this one's a little wobbly. So that could be a topographical effect. I'm not sure. Again, that's another variable to play around with. I mean, I think it was pretty clear when I accidentally did that pattern at what was that, 6 degrees instead of 2 degrees. That made the roughening worse. So yeah, I mean, if you can do this at 1 degree, that might help. It gets a little tricky to do it at 1 degree because you don't really know what you're looking at that point, at least as far as the FIB image is concerned. So. But we saw what we wanted to see in terms of the improvement here. So we got an improved pattern quality, got improved image quality. The phase is just going to be one phase because it's only nickel, obviously. Yeah, and so we don't see any more of that stuff in there. I think there's a way. My computer locked itself. I don't know why it doesn't. This is why it's great to have someone in the room with you here. What happened here? It says we're sharing the screen. Is it coming back? Okay. There's a little, yeah, again, there's a lag on my end here. Is there anything else? What's it called? Anything else in the chat we want to discuss? It doesn't look like. The live stream stay afterwards. Yes, so the live stream will stay up on the channel. The only reason it wouldn't is if I deleted it for some reason. So, and yes, this was, in spite of all the hiccups, this was still, a success. So I will leave it up. But yes, you can come back and watch it again. Oh yes. Okay. So I would like to say here, we're giving away a goodie bag here. Okay. So there's a link in the description where you can go and you have to enter in a secret word for this event. Okay. So the secret word for the event, I should have done this earlier. I got, distracted by, unforeseen circumstances. But the secret word for the event is xenon, in honor of the ion that's used by the PFIB. Okay. So if you go into the description and you find the link there for the swag bag giveaway, you can put in the password for this event, which again is xenon. Okay. XENON, in honor of the ion used by the PFIB. And I think if you're not here physically, we can still, you know, mail you the swag bag if you're, you know, out of town. All right, so we finally got the result here. Yeah, so we can really see the improvement. Right, there's your final IPF. There's your original IPF. And so that's pretty dramatic. Let me make some notes here. Okay, so yeah, so there was an indexing improvement in everything, improvement in the CI, improvement in the number of index points, right? So this was, you know, it was a pretty substantial improvement from doing the spin milling. Okay, although not without some hiccups here. All right, so let me go ahead and change this here. Let me blank the beam. Last thing I'm going to do, like a good scientist, is take some notes. So 10 kV, no worries, 6.4 nanoamps. Okay, 2000x. Horizontal field width equals 114 micrometers. Camera binning equals, whoops, 8 by 8. Come on, 8 by 8. PPS, or we'll put 300 patterns per second for the camera speed. And then I'm going to change this to be post PFIB polish. All right. So that's all she wrote, folks. Thank you very much for hanging out and watching this and bearing with me with the technical difficulties. So really appreciate it and your support. You can go ahead and find this on my channel after these. If you have any questions, you can leave them there. I'll get to them at a later point. Okay. A couple more questions. All right. What do we have here? The what map? Can you show the KAM map? I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure what a KAM map is. I can look up that at some point, but I don't have an answer for you there. So, kernel average misorientation. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. I'd have to look that up. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I can get back to you. Yeah, I'm not sure if the software does that. It might. I know it does an average fit angle. So, as far as the question about Hitachi versus or Tescan versus Thermo, yeah, that's a good question. I don't have much experience with the Tescan instruments, so you know, that's difficult for me to say. I couldn't really make a good judgment call there. So I've only really used the Thermo stuff, so difficult for me to make a call. But okay, so thanks again. If you have questions, leave them there. I'll get to them later after the demo's done. And I'm going to end the stream now. All right, have a good day, everybody. Remember, password, secret word, Xenon. All right, take care.